Wrong Turn. Man, oh man, do I have an interesting history with Wrong Turn, the franchise in general. This is a reboot of Wrong Turn that came out in 2021. It is directed by Mike P. Nelson. And I went into this movie, I'll be honest, expecting it to suck, expecting to hate it, expecting to give you the biggest rant of the year, because that's what my reviews for the Wrong Turn series has been for, God, how many installments? Pretty much since the second movie. And there's been, what, 7, 8 of these films? I've lost track. But my review for Wrong Turn 3, that rant, got over 1 million views, my highest viewed review ever, because that's how hard and crazy I ranted on it. This movie, we see these group of maybe 20-something year olds who are backpacking, hiking through the woods. Of course, that's usually how these films go. And one by one, things start to happen, whether it's traps in the woods or the people living out there physically attacking themselves. But I can't believe I'm saying this. What I actually really enjoyed about this film is the misdirection, is how they set you up for what would usually be the cliches of horror films, of this franchise in general, and they turn it on their heads. They give you something different, at least as far as the franchise goes, and I ended up really enjoying the film. Okay, let's talk about some of these actors. You have Jen, our main character, played by Charlotte Vega. I've never seen her before, but I thought she was quite good, especially when you consider how at the beginning she's dating a black guy. I'm not saying that's the only reason why I like her, but it's one of the reasons, because I am a champion on more films in general, but even, sure, why not horror movies, where you have a white girl and a black guy as a couple, because you don't see that a lot. And they even touched on the fact that how they're in a state near the South where people are looking at them a certain way because he is black and she is white. I guess it's because I relate to this as well. I'm a black dude. I have a white girlfriend. I deal with this a lot, and you don't see that in movies enough for my liking. So again, you had me connected to them right from there. The boyfriend is Darius, played by Aidan Bradley. I thought both of them were good actors. In fact, everybody really in this movie are good actors. You have a gay couple that are in the group. Of course, you have a couple of moments where that's addressed a little bit. Also, Emma Dumont as Mila. This actress looked familiar. I had to look her up, and I realized that she was in that TV show on Fox called The Gifted, that like X-Men TV show that they did. I didn't finish it, but I liked her in that series, and I liked her in this film as well. Her boyfriend, who I guess when he got drunk could be a little bit of a dick, but for the most part, I kind of understood where he came from. It's when this group decides to veer off in their hiking, go off the trail, of course, that's what everybody does, and they start getting hit with these traps. These traps are pretty creative, they're pretty inventive, probably some of the most creative traps in the series. I'm talking about tree logs, I'm talking about what you would call bear traps, or just holes that people can fall into, and just a lot of things that made you on edge, that left the creativity up in the air because you didn't know how some characters would die or what would happen to them throughout it. There's even a moment where a moral conflict happens with whether or not they should have attacked one of the people in the woods and what were the intentions, and that caught me by surprise. But not just all of that stuff, because you could say that that's your typical horror movie stuff. There's almost a second movie going on at the same time of this film, because you have Matthew Modine playing the father of Jen, and he becomes weary and worried about his daughter after a few weeks of not hearing from her. You see him actually, the movie starts the very, very, very beginning. First scene is Matthew Modine going to this town and looking for his daughter, and then we go backwards and see what happened. And then throughout it, you see splices of Matthew Modine questioning people and looking for her. And I enjoyed that because you hardly ever see that in these horror films where it's the aftermath or it's after whatever happens to the group happens to them, and it's a parent who's going out there and saying, fuck, I'm not just going to give up looking for my daughter. I'm going to do whatever it takes to find her. And I appreciated that. That's, once again, something that is different and wasn't expecting. But for me to go further, I have to get into spoilers. So before the spoilers, I'm just going to say that I really enjoyed the film. I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Some of the kills weren't as gruesome or gory or as gratuitous as I think a lot of the movies in the series has become. I'm going to give this a solid date movie. Oh, but like I said, spoilers! All right, so when you get towards the end of the film, there's probably like 3 or 4 different endings, really, to this movie, or at least fake endings, where you see Jen sort of decide for her and her boyfriend that they're just going to join this backwoods family. Because, look, the family has a code. You know, they're not as monstrous and as evil as the family in the original films. This family actually has a way of living where they don't kill just for the sake of it. They're really going after this group because they killed one of their own. It kind of makes sense in some ways. So you see that Darius and Jen, they joined the group. They end up joining the group. And you think the movie's going to end just like that, where she just accepts being one of them. She accepts being the wife of the leader. And you go, okay, that's downbeat and depressing. And I hate horror movies that end like that, or movies in general. But then we go back to Matthew Modine, and he's getting closer and closer to finding her. And sure, he finds the guy and his son who are supposed to help him navigate through the woods. They get taken out very quickly. I mean, it's almost pathetic seeing how he paid these guys $5,000 and they're supposed to know their way around the traps and whatnot. And then they're easily killed. But Matthew Modine finds his way to his daughter, or at least to the tribe. The daughter shoots her father with an arrow, and so I thought to myself, wow, whether it's been a few weeks or even a few months, I'm finding it hard to believe that she's so brainwashed. Look, I know that there are cases where this happens. I'm not saying it's not believable or it's unrealistic. I'm just saying for this film, I wasn't really trying to see this be the outcome of everything, where she kills her father and devotes herself to the group. But then no. She sneaks out late at night, takes her father out. They get away from the place, and they escape. And I thought to myself, great. Wow, a good ending. But then you get to the point where the leader of the tribe somehow found his way to her home. You see that Jen is pregnant with, obviously, the guy's baby. He knows this. And she's faced with, I have to save my family, so I'm going to willingly go with him again. And I thought to myself, wow, after everything that happened, the back and forth, she found her way back home, and now she's forced to go back into the tribe. This sucks. And then the credits start to play, and then you see the RV that they're driving away in crash. And the leader comes out, and she stabs the hell out of him, kills him, and Jen gets away once again. And that's finally, that's how the movie ends. And I love this. I love that they played with how many horror films have ended where everybody dies or the main character doesn't get away and is forced to do, or they turn. And I just hate so many horror films. I ended up hating specifically for endings like that. And then this one said, no, we're going to tease you, we're going to trick you, we're going to make you think that's what we're doing, but guess what? It's not what we're doing. It is a happy ending. The girl does get away, and she does become a fighter, and she kills the bad guy, which is something I don't see enough of. So yes, that's and many other reasons why I really enjoyed the Wrong Turn reboot. Again, I'm shocked to hear myself say it, but it's true. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen the Wrong Turn reboot. What do you think of it? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Or are you just so done with the franchise that you couldn't give a fuck less about it? I don't blame you. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!